Well, this seems like a story that shapes our faith. An eyewitness account, a trustworthy account from 3 people who saw it with their very own eyes. They heard it with their own ears. There on the top of the mountain, Jesus transfigured, dazzling white. What do we do with that vision? Let's unpack it a little bit. Peter, James, and John went up the mountain with Jesus. Surely when he invited them, come with me, come away with me to the top of the mountain. Now they already knew that Jesus was somebody special. They were following him, they were with him. They already knew that he was more than just a teacher. So their expectations must have been high when they went up that mountain. Because, of course, great things happen on the mountain. We know from the Hebrew Bible, in the last days, the mountain of the Lord's temple will be established as the highest of the mountains. It will be exalted above the hills, and all nations will stream to it. The Sermon on the Mount, they had heard, Jesus went to the mountain to deliver this most important message, the message from God. Moses sees the burning bush up on the mountain. So when they went there, they must have been expecting something wonderful. And when we go to special places, we come with full expectation. If you've ever been on a pilgrimage or been to a sacred site, you enter it with certain reverence, maybe hoping that this place will open for you a glimpse, a chance to see the divine. And so maybe those expectations made them so ready that when the light hit Jesus, it was a sign. But they got more than just maybe a trick of the light or maybe just the glory of God shining from within him. They had a vision of the 2 others, Elijah and Moses with him. Certainly this is an affirmation of what they expected. He is one of the holy people of God. And then the voice from the cloud. This cloud, what do we imagine that looks like? Maybe a cloud that comes across the sun and beams of light coming down. Maybe you've had that experience, a rainbow experience, a moment of awe. But primed, they hear the voice of God. This is my Son, the beloved, with whom I am well pleased. Listen to him. Maybe that eyewitness account seems like it is enough for us. We heard it from them. Peter reports it. He reports it in his letters. The stories are captured in the Gospels. That eyewitness account. We like eyewitness accounts. We test things by, did it really happen? And an eyewitness matters. We watch the eyewitness news. There was that incredible TV series. It was called Jesus, Faith, Fact, and Forgery. We like that. We test. Did it really happen? We listen to the archaeologists. But of course, we know that an eyewitness account might not tell us what it means. You think about the eyewitness who sees someone running down the sidewalk in a place where a crime has occurred. But what do we know? We don't know whether that person was the victim or the criminal, or maybe was late for lunch. Right? We know that he was running, but we don't know what it means. And so the question is one of interpretation. So Peter interprets this vision, this sign, and Peter says, I know what to do. I'll build dwellings. It seems maybe to us like a strange response, but it's the response we've had for generations and generations. Places where something amazing happens, a miracle happens, get venerated. Those are important places. When I lived in Bosnia years ago, I went to Medjugorje. It's a place in Bosnia where some teenagers had a vision of Mary on a hill. And hundreds of thousands of people go to that hill. And there's a monument there, something that's called the Blue Cross. And I went with those hundreds of thousands of others and sat by the Blue Cross. I climbed the mountain because that was the way we honored that vision. But Jesus says, no, that's not what I'm looking for. I don't want you to honor this place. And we listen carefully to that voice from the cloud. The cloud voice, that voice of God, which is what Peter, John, and James believed, that voice said, listen to him. And so the interpretation becomes not, what did you see, but what must you do having had this mountaintop experience, having heard, having seen? The eyewitness account becomes meaningful when we think about what they do. And so Jesus speaks to them as they come down the mountain, and he tells them what to do. He says, tell no one. A surprising response. He's trying to build a band of followers. He's calling them to be disciples, apostles. He says, don't tell anyone until after the Son of Man is raised from the dead. And this is what the real interpretation pointer is. Wait. You've seen me as I really am, a beloved child of God. But hold on. Something even more amazing is going to happen. I will be raised up and overcome death itself. A shift from a human being imbued with all of the divine, seen as the child of God, who will overcome death. And it's this interpretation that shapes us as a people of faith. It is this turning point in our liturgical calendar. We go from looking for the light, the season of Epiphany, to walking towards the cross. In the season of Lent, we will move now right with Jesus through suffering, right through death, to the Easter experience of resurrection. The Transfiguration is this moment when Jesus says, see me as I am, listen to me, and walk with me to Jerusalem. Walk with me to the cross, and right through that cross into everlasting life. That call to Peter, James, and John, of course, they did follow, and they built the church. They spread the message after he had been raised up. And we, a resurrection people, are called today to listen to him, to follow him, and to wait with hope and expectation, not for a vision, but for a new reality, that life in God is everlasting, overcomes even death itself. Let this be our prayer.